life, relationships, and reviews. And I have some new news concerning Johnny Depp, Amber Heard. As you guys know, I put out my first video on these guys yesterday. Okay, and it was just definitely a breakthrough, I call it. Okay, it was a breakthrough in the case where Amber basically said the wrong things, right? And I think I made a mistake. I think I should have done a breakdown first. So this is the breakdown. All right. And the breakdown of this is for everybody that doesn't know, this shit has been on Entertainment Tonight, Court TV. It's been on all these type of platforms, right? So if you guys don't know exactly what's going on, I'm going to break it down to you in a small segment. All right. So Johnny Depp met Amber Heard. They got married. Okay. They weren't married long, right? 15 months later, boom, the relationship was done. Now, um, 2016, Amber Heard put a restraining order against Johnny Depp, claiming that he, used to abuse her. And, she mentioned sexual abuse. She mentioned, verbal abuse. She mentioned like a lot of abuse. He was beating her up and all type of maybe 50 shades of gray type shit. I don't know. But that was her claims. So if you guys can remember back in those days and back in 2016, the Me Too movement was going on real strong, like Terry Crews and, the Harvey Weinstein thing was going on real hard at that time because he had just got discovered, right? Well, everybody decided, hey, let's shit on Johnny Depp. Yeah. Amber Heard, he been beating her up. Who does he think he is? Jack who? Right. So everybody jumped on her behalf. I think she liked the attention. So what she did, she put an op-ed on Washington Post. And when she done that, it was like Disney, regardless of proof that they had or anything, dropped Johnny Depp from the sixth installment of Pirates of the Caribbean. Now you have to imagine the salary that he has. He has like, I don't know, he might have made 50 million a show, for that franchise, and this is the sixth one, and they just dropped him like a bad habit because she posted this about domestic violence. And now she didn't say his name, but of course we knew who she was talking about. She was talking about Johnny Depp. She had a restraining order against the guy, and and she went public with his abuse allegedly, right? And it's crazy because now he decided that, like, you know what, I'm gonna take you to court now. Before that happened, they settled out of court for $7 million. All right, and these are when the lies start. The $7 million was awarded to Amber Heard, and an out of court settlement from Johnny Depp. It's like, take this fucking money, here's 7 million, okay, and let's go, done. Okay, well, she said she was going to donate all that damn money to charity. You know what I mean? And, we found out that wasn't the case at all. Right. And then she did the opt ad. And Johnny gets fired. And he's like, you know what? I've had enough. I'm going to take you to court. Well, what she does then, she finds out she was going to court. So she was like, you know what? Let's try to get this thrown out of court again. Let's do something like the 7 million or whatever. No, 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 no. He was like, no, this judge actually picked this up, and this is why we're here. Okay. And then since then, we've seen her claim that he beat her ass with all these rings. Johnny Depp is kind of like an androgynous, kind of dark Tim Burton, like Edward Scissorhands. He has all these rings on. They're all kind of jagged or something. If somebody hits you, okay, hits you any type of way, just kind of backhand you, even if he backhand her with those rings on, her face would be shredded, bro. Counterpunch, right? I mean, her face would be totally shredded. That wouldn't be any damn, bruise. She had something on her arm here, but then her face was like clear. Bullshit. Okay. She buying another one. She shits in his bed. Nasty. I mean, I don't even know who does that type shit. You know what I'm saying? Um, she buys him a knife, and they were only together. Keep in mind, they were only together for like 15 months, and that really wasn't even the time. They were married for 15 months, so we don't even really know how long this took place. Maybe 8 or 9 months, maybe a year. Okay, because they weren't together that long. So all this crazy shit happened within this time frame. Now imagine if they were like Demi Moore and Bruce Willis type of relationship, or Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise, those type of guys. Like, what if they were in that type of situation where they spent a valuable amount of time together? That would be different. But these guys, they were together for like shit. They're only married for 15 months. She gets 7 million, says she's going to give all that shit away, didn't give it away. So we found out that was a lie. Okay. Um, what else has taken place? They had the psychologist specialist and he was looking all crazy and look, this has been one hell of a trial, and it's taken everybody by storm. Like Johnny is just like he ain't even looking at her, which he shouldn't, because I mean, if and my thing is, you got a guy that has put money, energy into proving himself wrong, but I think it's more than that. I think it's the not proving himself, proving that she's wrong, but really burying her. Because Amber Heard, like I said, a lot of these celebrities, they marry for status. They don't marry for love. They don't marry because they care. They don't marry. They don't marry for any of that shit. Speaking of status, Amber Heard, she broke down supposedly on the stand and was like, "Oh, I just wanted him and I loved him so much." And then if you look close, none of that shit was tears. That was just her squinting her face. I just love him so much. I just cared for him. I ain't seen a teardrop nowhere. Crazy. Crazy, man. So, this is what we're dealing with. They got both of them got a team of lawyers, and they're like, they got celebrities outside the courtroom. This shit is probably the biggest since OJ Simpson. And I was a damn kid when that happened. I was a teenager. So I was maybe 14, 15 when OJ, allegedly slaughtered both of them. So it's crazy. But Nadi, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. And we're looking at this case, man, and I just see so many, like, Amber's losing to me. She's losing. I mean, she got on Aquaman. And I think what people do though, Drake said it best. Like, sometimes you can catapult someone to a certain level, and then they'll show you, if they want you, they'll show you that they don't want you. You know what I mean? They just show you what they needed from you, and they got what they needed from you, and that's that. You guys hit that like button when you come in, on the boxing side of things. This is another platform where we can talk about, random things, such as, life, relationships, and reviews. Why not? And it is some new news. Bars. Same guy, different platform. So, this is what we're dealing with Amber Heard. And a lot of this stuff, man, it's crazy. And it just shows you how toxic people are. That's exactly why I never wanted to date an actress, let alone a stunt performer. Like, I just really don't see any type of authenticity of that, because I've never been in a situation on the acting side or the stunt side. I haven't been in any situation where any of those wanted to date me. You know what I mean? The only time that I had got attention is on the show that I was on. And I think that's how it works. And unfortunately, this is how it works in the film industry. If you're banging and you're booking and you're working and you're going from New York, then you're going to Atlanta, then you're going to LA, then you're going back to Texas, then you're going to New Orleans, then you're in Chicago. If you're doing all these shows, people are going to pick that up. They're going to check your IMDb. They're going to see, your accomplishments. And then you're going to start seeing strange inboxes from certain random people that probably you've met somewhere, at a mixer or some type of audition or something like that. And then all of a sudden, even red carpet shit, but I don't really go to that like that. I got work to do, right? I'm working. But, premieres, movie premieres, and you run into someone and all of a sudden it's like, hey, haven't seen you in a while. And I think that's what happens. You get approached. Nobody gives a shit about somebody that's not working. Damn, I haven't heard from him in a while. Or I haven't heard from her in a while. Damn, are they still in the business? That's how it goes, right? Benatti, what's up, brother? What's the question mark for? So, man, this is a lengthy trial. I never thought that it would be this long. They've been at this shit for a minute. How long have they been on this case? Well, wait a minute. I think the show has officially started by now, so you guys should come on in on the boxing side. But speaking of boxing, Amber Heard claimed that Johnny Depp beat her up. Then to come to find the hell out, he was getting punched in the face, and then she was like, "Well, what are you gonna do about it? Say a woman punched you in the face? We're gonna see where, how far that's gonna go." So dude, it's crazy. It's and it just shows you that be careful who you wag the finger at, right? Because you may have 100 fingers wagging right back at you, and there's no fun when the rabbit has the gun. Bars. And I'll say this. Amber Heard claimed Johnny Depp was on drugs, like she couldn't handle it. She wanted him to get help. She wanted this and wanted that. She loved him so much. And I would say this about any of these things. Whenever you're with a person that that has a certain lifestyle, you have to have, listen to me, people, you have to have a certain or a similar lifestyle. Okay. And I don't believe half this shit. She was like, well, the first 12 months I was with Johnny and he didn't have, he appeared to be sober. I don't think that's the case at all. I think both of these motherfuckers was getting fucked up, getting high, getting drunk, doing whatever they were doing because that's Hollywood, man. That's a lot of things. Like not everybody gets wasted in Hollywood, but if you're at a certain level, you have access to things other people really don't on a normal basis. You know what I mean? Because things are just, you can call people and things are just delivered to you. Amber Heard claims that she didn't, if she says he's getting high or whatever, if he was, she was getting high with him. Counterpunch. She was getting high with this guy. She wouldn't, and if he was drinking like that, she was drinking with him. I'm listening to these recordings, right? And I'm listening to how she was talking. She was talking like she was drunk as hell. Johnny Depp always sounds the same way. Well, I'm gonna tell you, that's that rich drug, like dragged out persona. Like, yeah, I was just talking and I was just, he's just like, he doesn't have to move too fast for anybody. Probably nothing really too much excites him anymore as far as that goes, probably work or whatever. And then a lot of work has been snatched from him because of this shit. So I would be mad too, but if she goes down for that, she has to pay this man $50 million. 50. 50 million bucks. And it's crazy because see what happens if she loses this case, she's gonna lose all that other work too. And Warner Brothers, is it Warner Brothers or DC? They're gonna drop her from that Aquaman movie. They're gonna recast her like they do with everybody else. Like you look at, no one is too big to be recasted. Look at Johnny Depp; he got recasted. He's not coming in as Jack Sparrow. He's not even in the franchise because of her. Well, if he wins, basically someone's career is on the line. That's it. Someone's career is on the line. And they will replace her for somebody else. Maybe Igamar Johansson or somebody like Igamar Johansson, Scarlett Johansson. Hell, I'm talking about boxing. No, Scarlett Johansson. They will replace her with someone like that, someone equally known, beautiful. But I don't know if you could do that with Marvel and then DC. hmm So it's been crazy, man, and just giving you guys a breakdown on what's going on with the case. I'm gonna drop some content on there, do some reaction videos about this whole thing. But it's been very interesting to say the least. It's been interesting and had a lot of people, you know. At first, when I first saw it, I was like, "What the fuck is this? Why Johnny Depp? I mean, defamation? What's happening?" But now it all makes sense. You do the breakdown, you understand what was at stake, what he lost, due to just being with somebody that had allegedly an ulterior motive. And that's what happens. And like the shit she's done, a lot of holes in her defense, and she's getting countered because of the holes in her defense. What do you do? What do you do about it? What do you say about it? So I think that if she loses this case, she loses her career. And rightfully so. Why? Because he lost his. Now he could probably do other films, but you lose a franchise opportunity like that, even though he probably made $1 billion off Pirates of the Caribbean. I'm pretty damn sure at this point. Close to it, maybe a quarter of a billion, a half a billion, billions. And then you marry somebody and then they say some shit that's not even true or whatever, and then you lose that based on Me Too, based on something that's going on at the time. Yeah, it could happen. And then she should, like she wasn't like a mainstream actress. She wasn't that on that fucking level. Never Back Down was a long fucking time ago. Fucking Baja, so it's just like, listen, at the end of the day, somebody's going down. Somebody's going down, and we've had a lot of witnesses, and that's some very interesting stuff right there by itself. Because let's hit that like button. Let's bring more people in here. I know this is not a big platform, but um, we're going to show the stats and the facts. We're going to do a breakdown of what's going on with this case, and it's crazy. Johnny Depp's lawyer, I think her name is I forget her name, but she ripped Amber a new one. I mean, ripped her a new one. You know, um, let's listen to what they got to say. What's going on?
Could infer that, and his own, both from the actual malice from Mr. Depp and Mr. Waldman's own reckless disregard of facts that didn't support Mr. Depp, and his attempts to manufacture false evidence that did. As Your Honor found in the hearing, I believe it was on March 24th, after Your Honor denied Mr. Depp's motion for summary judgment, Your Honor said, as to malice, a fact finder could reasonably conclude that Mr. Waldman made the statements with malice because Mr. Waldman has no personal knowledge of the party's marriage and still made the statements at issue. Nothing in this case has changed that. If anything, the evidence has only made it more clear that that is an inference that the jury can and we believe will find.
Ooh, that's bad.
So, Your Honor, there's no basis to grant a motion to strike on this agency argument, on the actual malice argument. The evidence shows that not only was Mr. Waldman Mr. Depp's agent, but that the two of them conspired to falsely accuse Amber of creating a hoax and falsify evidence that they believed supported their theory and what they wanted to achieve. As Your Honor well knows too, I won't go through all the law, but both agency and malice can be inferred through circumstantial evidence. There's plenty of evidence in the record from which the jury could infer those. Moving on, Your Honor, to the independent contractor, the court's already rejected this argument, ruled that an attorney-client have a principal-agent relationship, and as Your Honor said on Friday, there's no evidence in this case of anything otherwise. As to the argument that the counterclaim statements are statements of opinion, the court has already found twice that they are not statements of opinion, both on January 4th, 2021, in its opinion letter denying Mr. Depp's demur as to the counterclaim statements, and at the motion for summary judgment hearing in March of this year. As the anti-SLAPP argument, the court again has already ruled at the March 24th, 2021 opinion that the statements are as a matter of law regarding matters of public opinion. The court has already ruled that. Therefore, the only remaining issue for anti-SLAPP is whether the intent element of immunity is met. As we discussed on Friday, the intent element of immunity is substantially the same as the actual malice standard, which the evidence in this case easily allows a jury to find in favor of Ms. Heard on that. I won't go through the litany of evidence that supports that Mr. Depp is an abuser here, but I'll touch on a few things that relate to Mr. Chu's argument. One, Mr. Chu was totally misrepresenting Mr. Doherty's testimony. There's not a single piece of evidence, Your Honor, in this case suggesting that Ms. Heard and the ACLU were somehow conspiring to achieve a defamatory implication to Mr. Depp. That's simply not what Mr. Doherty said. Mr. Chu's feel free to argue
Johnny
that
Depp's laugh. He's like, bullshit.
Reflects. Your Honor, there's also plenty of evidence that's been adduced both in Mr. Depp's claim and in Ms. Heard's counterclaim that show that absolutely that the counterclaim statements are 100% false. There was no hoax perpetrated. Mr. Depp is an abuser who abused Ms. Heard. She did not conspire with her friends to create a hoax. She did not create a hoax herself. And just very briefly, some of the evidence that's come up since the last motion to strike, Your Honor, that Mr. Chu conveniently disregards in this brief are the testimony of Rocky Pennington, the testimony of Josh Drew, the testimony of Elizabeth Mars, all of whom completely corroborate Ms. Heard's account of the events of May 21st, 2016. The testimony of Melanie Iglesias, who testified that she covered Ms. Heard's bruises with makeup right after the December 15th incident, that provided ample testimony to support that Ms. Heard often would cover her bruises that were caused by the plaintiff, in this case, by Mr. Depp, with makeup. He ignores the evidence of Christy Sexton. He ignores the evidence of Io Tillett Wright. He ignores the evidence of Whitney Enriquez. All of these witnesses and others have testified extensively about Mr. Depp's abusive behavior toward Ms. Heard. Physical abuse, emotional abuse, psychological abuse, verbal abuse, Your Honor. Mr. Depp's own writings, recordings, pictures, and videos confirm that. The list goes on. There's abundant evidence in the record, Your Honor, from which the jury could, and again, we believe will find that Ms. Heard is not liable for defamation to Mr. Depp, and therefore, by definition, she has not acted with actual malice, and based on the court's rulings on March 24th, 2021, she would be entitled to anti-SLAPP immunity, which would permit her to ask the court to award attorney's fees against Mr. Depp. So with that, Your Honor, I'm happy to answer any questions the court has.
That's fine. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I will be brief in deference to the court's time and the jury's time.
He's like, I won't talk all that shit.
What Mr. Rottenborn said
Like the other guy.
about Mr. Waldman's allegedly going to the LAPD about perjury is a complete non sequitur. If they thought that that were somehow improper conduct, they could have included it in their counterclaims. They included everything else but the kitchen sink, and most of it was thrown out. There was nothing in there about Mr. Waldman going to the LAPD. So that is a very clear non sequitur, red herring distraction. Number two, when Your Honor ruled on summary judgment on the issue of the counterclaims, Your Honor was dealing with a different standard and a different evidentiary record. At that time, Mr. Waldman had not testified, which is material. Mr. Waldman has now testified for purposes of trial. We have his trial testimony. It's very clear that he did not act with actual malice. They didn't even argue that. So that's pretty clear. And again, this is consistent. The third point is that it's all about games. They didn't sue Mr. Waldman on the 3 statements. They didn't try to fill the hole. They've been telling us for a week that they're going to call Mr. Depp to try to fill the hole in their counterclaims. They didn't do that. And it's very consistent with the game plan. Let's go into court after the police have found no problem, and after witness who had no relationship with each other said there are no visible marks. Let's not give Mr. Depp's lawyer the required 24-hour notice before the TRO. Let's march into court with our publicist, with our lawyer, with our best friend who no longer talks to her. Let's get a TRO. And when the Me Too folks say, why are you taking $7 million from an abuser? They said, I didn't take money from the abuser. I gave it all to charity. Well, they didn't. I don't think anybody should feel bad about them stiffing the ACLU, given what the ACLU did in this case, which is a monstrosity.
And let me break something down to you guys. First off, if that's no different than Tyson Fury saying that I donated my whole first Deontay Wilder shit to charity. You either did or you fucking didn't. And when they asked her, she was like, what word did she use? She didn't say I gave. It was like, oh, I pledged a 7 million. It's like you either paid it or you didn't. You know what I mean? You either paid the money to charity like you said you were going to do, or you did not. And she did not. But she said she did. See, when you start doing shit like that, that's grimy. And Me Too should be pissed off about that, especially whoever that charity is, because you're telling the public that, hey, I'm giving this money to a particular organization. That organization in return will go like, cool, that's so good. We can do this. And especially the presidents and, the owners of that. And if you guys don't know how like donation foundations work, only 32% of the money that anyone donates to any organization goes to the actual cause. Only 32. So 68% of that shit goes to somebody's pockets and the funding and the people that's actually doing the work and all that. It doesn't go to the charity. That's why I don't donate to charities. If I see someone in need, I help them in need. Not 32% of the shit that I'm doing for them in need. No, 100% of what I can do for that person when I witness that person is in need of help. Okay, that's what I do. All right, so as far as Amber saying that I gave it to charity, do you know how fucking long ago that was? You settled out of court in 2016 or was it 18? Either one. Okay, she got 7 million 4 fucking years ago. You mean it took you 4 years to give $7 million away? You're either going to give it away or you're not. But if I'm the Me Too, I would have just turned my back on all that shit, because once I heard she was telling a lie like that, I'm like, that's the biggest lie you could possibly ever told. The money that you got from the abuser, I'm going to take that money, do something right with it, donate it to charity, and don't do it. Who the fuck does that? I mean, who does that really? Anyway, let's continue.
But she did stiff the sick and dying children. It is gamesmanship, and that's what she's doing here today. But the law is the law, and they have not fulfilled their burden with respect to the counterclaims. There is virtually no nexus between Mr. Depp and Mr. Waldman as to these statements at issue, except for the fact that he is an attorney, and that is not sufficient in a case where they have not even established that Mr. Depp was aware of these statements. And they knew that they couldn't do it, and they didn't even try. And it's more of the gamesmanship when Ms. Heard plays word games with Mr. Depp about, oh, I didn't punch you, Johnny, I just hit you. Imagine if the shoe were on the other foot and Mr. Depp, a man, was saying to a woman, oh, woman up, I only hit you, I didn't punch you.
Oh, yeah.
And when it
Damn.
was chilling, when she warned him on the tape, you go tell a judge, you go tell a jury that you, a man, were abused. See if they're going to believe that. It is.
Listen, let me counter. What he said made so much sense. And Me Too turned into a genderless situation. It was first just women getting abused and things of that nature. But then once whoever that guy was grabbed the junk of Terry Crews, it turned into a genderless situation. See, that Me Too, sexual abuse, verbal abuse, physical abuse, that's the Me Too. Okay. You guys remember when that kind of just sparked and blew out of proportion and everybody was like, okay, yeah, Me Too. This happened to Me Too, Me Too, Me Too. Okay. Amber saying that, and that was a great counter from the judge. He was like, well, imagine if Johnny said that. As you guys heard, like, I didn't punch, I just hit you. Dude, they would run his ass up the flagpole. That's all they look from that evidence alone. They would have ran his ass up the flagpole. They would have been like, fucking motherfucker, bastard. Because they would have been so furious on how he said that. Yeah, you go tell a lawyer and see how far that gets. But she's on the audio saying this shit. You know, and so it's crazy. It's so crazy that like you have this type of stuff as evidence, and it does show you how like feministic like the society really is, because they don't like people don't look at that and cringe. You should cringe when you hear shit like that. You should, because you come in on a you coming at a level where you gotta, because it's bad. Women abuse men too. We know that. I had a cousin, right? My cousin, love him to death, still alive. God bless him. Here's a scar from here to here. And it has a little like thing. I don't know what. His girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, took a knife and literally carved his face down the middle like that. You know, and he has that. He will always have this jacked up scar. Scarface ain't got shit on my cousin when it comes to that scar. So don't tell me about abuse. Don't tell me about assault. Don't tell me about aggravated assault. Don't tell me about any of that shit. That shit goes both ways. You know, and if you have a type of mindset where you cater to one side, you're losing, you're failing. Okay. And it's been too much of this shit going along, just like she was trying to exploit. Yeah, Johnny, you go tell him, see how far that gets you. That alone should have got her. That should have been the hook, line, and sinker, you know? But let's continue.
An abuse of the system, and she's done it throughout. Finally, Your Honor, and Mr. Rottenborn makes an excellent point with which I agree, which was that with respect to each of the three statements, Mr. Waldman was clearly identified, even by the tabloid that printed these, well within articles that had both sides represented, that he was Mr. Waldman's attorney. Even the reader of a tabloid understands that when you're getting statements from attorneys, it's going to be forwarding their client's point of view. Mr. Waldman is not the only attorney who has spoken out. Robbie Kaplan, who was Ms. Heard's second attorney. So Ms. Heard started out with Eric George. He made comments to the press.
Objection, Your Honor. Again, this is so much further beyond what Your Honor is addressing.
I'm finishing up, Your Honor.
Okay.
I'm finishing up. My point, Your Honor, and it's on point, is that Mr. George made statements supporting Ms. Heard's position. Ms. Kaplan made very clear statements supporting her client's position on the merits, and so did Mr. Waldman. But everybody knows when reading those that those are statements by partisans. So for the reasons that we've stated and the reasons set forth in the brief, we respectfully submit that the court should grant the motion to strike, or in light of the fact that Mr. Depp may reappear, at the very least, take these motions under advisement until the close of all evidence. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, in this matter, I've reviewed all the defendant's evidence as to her counterclaim, and I've considered the arguments of her counsel and plaintiff's counsel. First, to address a few
Counterclaim
issues that I believe are outside the motion to strike, and that's as to the slap defense. The slap defense is just that, it's a defense, so it's really not considered in a motion to strike. Having said that, we went down that legal road on Friday as far as the slap defense goes, as far as the jury instructions. In this particular case, if the plaintiff prevails, it must be with actual malice. Therefore, if it's with actual malice, immunity does not apply under that statute. So we will deal with that with jury instructions, and we have. As to independent contractor, again, I think it's outside the motion to strike. However, Mr. Waldman was plaintiff's attorney since 2016. Before the initiation of litigation, there is evidence that Mr. Waldman had a certain role during the prior divorce proceedings in the UK case. Additionally, there is evidence that shows his legal representation was broader than just a limited litigation, as outlined in all the cases presenting an attorney as an independent contractor. So the only evidence in this case to this point is that Mr. Waldman was an agent to Mr. Depp, and that is the basis to weigh the motion to strike. As far as the opinions argument, again, I think that is outside the motion to strike. The opinions argument, the court has already ruled on this matter as to the three statements that are at issue in the counterclaim, ruled that they were not opinion at the demur and at summary judgment. So that argument will not be part of the motion to strike. So when assessing a motion to strike, the court accepts the favorable evidence adduced as true towards the non-moving party. The court cannot reject any inference from the evidence favorable to the non-moving party unless it would defy logic and common sense. When there is any doubt and question, the court should overrule a motion to strike. Agency may be inferred from the conduct of the parties and from surrounding facts and circumstances. When there is no direct evidence, circumstances may, and usually are, relied upon to determine whether an agency relationship exists. A principal is liable for the tortious acts of his agent if the agent was performing his principal's business and acting within the scope of his agency. If an agent's tortious act arises from their agency relationship, is enacted in part to service the principal can be held liable for the tort. Here, the alleged tort is defamation. Besides demonstrating the agency relationship, the defendant must prove Mr. Waldman published an actionable statement, meaning a statement that is both false and defamatory, with the requisite intent. As to agency, Mr. Waldman was plaintiff's attorney at the time of the alleged defamatory statements were made. Mr. Waldman does not deny this, and neither does the plaintiff. Moreover, Mr. Waldman made the allegedly defamatory statements about the defendant during the proceedings of this action and interacted with the defendant once the statements were made while still representing the plaintiff. Taking the surrounding circumstances as a whole, an agency relationship can be inferred, and thus a scintilla of evidence regarding agency must be turned over to the jury. In addition, the jury may infer that Mr. Waldman made these specific statements to a third party to service plaintiff by portraying defendant as an opposing litigant in a negative light. It is not disputed that Mr. Waldman published statements and that there is a question as to whether statements are false, and both parties disagree and have presented conflicting evidence as such. As to actual malice, Mr. Waldman made the counterclaim statements after he met with his client. In addition, there is evidence the plaintiff was with Mr. Waldman at a meeting in February 2020 with the Daily Mail Online. Further, defendant claimed that she met with Mr. Waldman where he threw the paper containing the counterclaim statements within them. Consequently, there is more than a scintilla of evidence that a reasonable juror may infer Mr. Waldman made the counterclaim statements while realizing they were false or with a reckless disregard for their truth. It is not my role to measure the veracity or weight of the evidence. The Fourth Circuit and the Virginia Supreme Court have made it crystal clear that actual malice is a question for the fact finder. So therefore, the plaintiff's motion to strike is denied. Okay? Thank you. Is there any other preliminary matters before the jury?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Okay, the counter strike is denied. So what that means, people, is if she is able to defend herself and prove that she didn't, if she proves herself to be innocent, she can't counter strike. That's what that means. So that's a good thing. But what she needs to do is pay that fucking money that she says she's going to pay. You know what I mean? So I'm sure if she wins, pay that fucking money you said you're going to pay, because people are not going to forget about that. They're not going to forget in this case that the evidence presented that you never paid those organizations, the money that you claimed that you was going to pay once you got that settlement from a guy that's supposed to beat the shit out of you all the time and stay drunk and high, and you not get high and drunk with him, and you not hit him or beat him or any of that with him. Okay, so she still has to pay that damn money, people. Absolutely. So that would still be something that she has to look forward to. That's it. I think it's like 3.5 to one, 3.5 to another. And that's what that is. Um, so, it's now they're all huddling up like look at all these lawyers. These lawyers are funny as hell, man. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's crazy the shit they do, you know? But like said it best from a guy that I doubled by the name of Stan Shaw. He was in this movie called Rising Sun with Sean Connery. It's kind of a dick, but he was all right, I guess. He said, and it was like, yeah, it's always good to fuck a lawyer instead of get fucked by a lawyer. Yeah, I love that movie, man. Rising Sun is one of my best movies. With Wesley Snipes, Sean Connery, you know. So you have a lot of I don't know who these I don't know who they are. So they're huddling up. They're seeing what the hell the case is. I don't know. But I think the thing is people are not really looking at is the jury. The jury is very important. You got a lot of women in there. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. It just depends on where their mindset is. You know, that's Amber Heard's sister. Yeah, I think she jacked things up too. Yeah, they muted everything. So we'll see what's happening with this. You know. All right, let me look at some. I'm guessing we can't talk about boxing stuff on here, but counterpunch to you, Kurt. Brandon, counterpunch to you. Yeah, man, I'll answer some questions about boxing. That's my heart, man. Joseph Winston. But this is like a different platform. For that reason. But would love to hear you counterpunch on Brendan Langley airport incident at some point, if your schedule permits. Brendan Langley. Okay, I'll definitely see because I haven't heard about the airport incident. It's cool that you are breaking this down on the rise. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate you. Let's get those likes up. I know YouTube will only allow you to, your small community of people, which I respect each and every one of you. I appreciate it, all you guys. All nine of you. It's been more than that. People come in, they come out, and like, oh, okay, he's got another channel. All right, I don't want to hear that shit, and they leave. You know what I mean? Then some comes back. That's why it's a small number, but it's gonna grow, and it's gonna grow, and it's gonna grow. But yeah, they're doing whatever the hell they're doing. So we just have to wait and see. What's going on. I'm gonna get me some water, and I will be right back. Christian Malik, like for you. Appreciate you. I don't know if you remember, but I changed my name on here. It used to be Ranaku Do, and you would always say counterpunch to you. Bars. Yeah, Ranaku Do. Bars. Why'd you change your name, man? That was a cool name. You in some kind of trouble or something? Okay, they've been at this for a while. I don't know what the hell's going on, but I guess they're all still all huddled up. You know, both sides, all the lawyers. Okay, so ha ha ha. Nah, I just wanted to switch it up. Been MIA for a minute, but had to come back and show some Texas love. I heard that, man. You in Texas now? Yeah, I'm not giving this too much. ATX. And you're down here with me. CP is in CP. Let me see the park. I wonder what the hell Johnny's doing. He's just been sitting there like doodling or writing on something. I don't know. Okay, they're panning over. All right, they're giving someone something. The Riverside area. Oh yeah, you're downtown, huh? Like before you get to downtown, like 233, 234 exit. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, exactly where you're at. I know that area pretty well, sir. Yeah, you can tell they're going back and forth. They're like Johnny's just sitting there chilling, calm, cool, collective, wearing a ponytail and shit. This is crazy. Yeah, yeah, her. You don't lie on the kids. You don't lie on charity. You don't. It's not what you do. You know what I mean? Because that been anybody else. Like feminism has took a nasty turn for society and what people accept due to feminism, and it's bad. And it's almost and it's not none of the shit's fair. It's like you allow certain type of people to do certain things to other people, and it's acceptable, and it's not, and it should never be. That's just like chauvinist. That's the same thing. Feminism and chauvinist is like they're like that's just like, oh well, he's a guy, he does that shit. You know. He's a guy, so he's supposed to beat you up. What do you expect? What do you want from him? That type shit. Like, no, that's not cool. That's the same rate because if Johnny jumped on her, beat her ass, and let me lay something down on you before I jump off of here, guys. An audio showed at him like, "Hey, you beat me up. You beat me up. You started a physical altercation with me." And she was like, "Yeah, so what? Grow the fuck up, man up, you fucking baby, and man up." It's like at what time though did you ever hear her say, "Why? used to beat my ass. Counterpunch. See, in any type of relationship, when it comes to two people that done two bad things, I've been in relationships like that. Why would you ever not say what the person has done, if that, especially if that person is guilty of doing it? Listen to me, people. I want people to understand, like him saying, dude, you fucking punched me, you fucking hit me. I didn't fucking punch you, I fucking hit you. I fucking hit you. So what? Grow the fuck up. Now, that was her opportunity at that point to say, you know what? Like you used to beat my ass, Johnny. Like you used to fucking slap me. Like you used to punch me. Like you used to abuse me. If that was the case, people, she would have said that shit then. That was her opportunity for her counter. Why? Because maybe he ain't no fucking Ike Turner. She ain't no fucking Tina Turner. Okay? That's the difference. She tried to be Tina and turn him, Johnny Depp, into fucking Ike Turner. That's all this is. And it's all bullshit. Because if anybody, okay, if Johnny Depp was beating her ass like she claimed, you know what would have happened? This is what would have happened. Let me give you the scenario of what would have happened. When he mentioned, dude, you fucking hit me. You fucking punching me. You know what she would have done? She wouldn't even said baby and grow up and you did all that shit she said. You know what she'd have said? Motherfucker, you got some nerve. You got some nerve to talk to me about fucking abuse, Johnny. You got some nerve. Right? She probably would have broke down because then she would have been reliving what happened to her in her mind as he ironically said, you hit me. That would have immediately came out. And it would have came out on that damn audio. Anybody with any decent common sense could see that shit. Stevie Wonder could see that shit. Right? I mean, it's just, it does not make sense. It does not make sense. And I don't buy any of this shit at this point. Because she had ample opportunity to tell him, no, you beat my ass. That's just a natural reflection. That's not even a deflection. A lot of people like to deflect. No, that would be a natural reaction, a natural reply. Well, fuck, you beat me? What the fuck? You're a grown ass man, Johnny. But you beat my ass, didn't you? With all them fucking rings on your hands. What you now you mad because I hit you? I'm getting a little get back and you mad at me? Being the man? Then she could say, you need to man the fuck up. Then she could say that. Because then she's qualified it. How? Because she did something to a guy that's been doing something to her for the longest, right? Am I right or am I wrong? He's supposed to been beating her ass when he got drunk, high, bitch. But when he was drunk or high, don't want to see the monster come back to me. I love you and this, that, and the other. No, let me counterpunch that real quick, people. If she was afraid of him getting high and drunk and that's when he used to do what he did, why would she be so, why would he or she wanting him to come back? Why would she want him to come back to the house so bad? The first thing, if I was a woman and I knew every time he goes out, my husband gets drunk and he comes home and beats my ass. If I'm a chick, the last thing I would want to say is come home. What I would say is, no, you beat the shit out of me last time. You go ahead to one of your other fucking houses. Your 14 or 15 other places that you have to dwell in while you're in that particular state of mind. Think about it, people. Look, this shit is just common sense. It's just common sense. Here's the thing. True, because she could have said something, okay, all the times you were hitting me, exactly on the rise. Why would anyone buy their abuser a knife as a present? Exactly. If he was that unstable, that meant Johnny Depp. And you think about it. Johnny Depp is rich as shit. He does what he wants to do. And if he wanted to get high at that particular time, he did it anyway. But if his reaction of getting high, I ain't saying he didn't get high. I think he was getting high as fuck. But I think she was getting high as fuck too. I think they were both dwelling down and getting, you know, down and dirty. But look, no, you would not buy someone something that they could hurt you with on down the line. She bought him that damn knife because she knows this is how Amber Heard looks at Johnny. She looked at Johnny as a fucking opportunity. She grabbed a hold of that opportunity. Johnny Depp fell in love with her. She is, an attractive woman or whatever. So he fell in love with that. He fell in love with her. But then he found out like this motherfucker's a monster, and now she's verbally abusive. Yeah, I get high, but then she wants to fuck with me. You know what I think though? This is my opinion. I think she wanted him to come back because I think Amber Heard's one of them type of women that sees a guy drunk and then beats him up. There's a lot of women that does that. Catch their husband drunk and go in there and beat him up. I think she's one of those type of people. And I think it's like, I need to get away from you. You know what I mean? Because if he doesn't remember shit, he probably woke up with knots and shit. Oh, what happened? Oh, nothing, Johnny. You know what I mean? That's what I believe. That's the case. That's what I believe that happened in this case with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Especially if she has the mindset, of taking abusing a situation, and that's all she was really doing. She was abusing the situation. She was abusing the fact that she was a woman, and she was using that as her advantage to do some foul shit, and if it's scary like that, and here's the scary part that nobody's really thinking about, right? I want to put this on you guys' brain. If she's the type of person that uses a bruise kit, she's also the type of person that could easily damage herself. That's some scary shit. You hit me. Huh? I'm like, did this motherfucker just punch herself? That's bad. But no, but I think here's the thing. The good news is if she used the bruise kit, that meant she didn't want to go to the real. She wanted to do some shit that looked real, but not actually be real. So she could have threw herself down some stairs and said Johnny shoved her and shit. She could have done that. She didn't do that. She was like, nah, too pussyfied for that. Not gonna do that. What I'm gonna do though, I'm gonna get some makeup people in here and put the fucking makeup on and make that shit look authentic. That's what I'm gonna do. And that's what I believe she did. I mean, she said it herself. She said bruise kit. Nobody says a bruise kit. That's movie jargon, people. That's set jargon for ioxy, for hair, makeup, sometimes special effects. Bruise kit. Mostly makeup, though, because they have to make something look a certain way based on what happened in a storyline on the script that we're reading for that particular project. So if somebody got beat the fuck up, that means they have to make you look like you got beat the fuck up. That's it. She couldn't handle the fear and the loathing drugs Depp ran through. Just joking. Well, had some weird shit going. But the good thing is he didn't let it drag out. And here's the thing. Johnny Depp left. This is what I've witnessed. Johnny Depp left her. Then, oh, you're leaving me? You can't leave me. You know what? You used to beat me. I'm gonna slap you with a lawsuit with a restraining order, because that's what you do. You have to put a restraining order. That means you're in fear of your life. Coming from a guy that says you'll never see my eyes again, why would you even slap a restraining order on him? He hasn't looked at her one fucking time in this whole time. He hasn't looked at her one time. So that tells you that like he left her ass for good. She felt some type of way. And she said, okay, I'm going to get back at this guy. Mr. Big Shot Johnny Depp, fuck you. She's nowhere near him anyway. He gave her $7 million. She said she's going to give it away like that money ain't good enough for her. And then she kept that damn money and she lied. Lied on the kids.
Ready for the jury then?
Here we go.
Okay.
Michael, Kurt, much love to see the Life channel. Absolutely. Appreciate you, brother. All right, here's the jury. So they bring in the jury in. I want to see what these guys look like, or gals. Oh shit, Uncle C, yeah, that'd be big. You know what? I'm gonna call him. I'm gonna call him and shit. Yeah, he probably watching this shit somewhere, drinking a big ass gallon of milk. He drinks whiskey and milk, people. He drinks milk in the morning and whiskey at night. He hunts. He eats deer, possum, not possum, deer, coon,
Good
rabbit,
morning, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize, we
squirrel.
have a few housekeeping matters to take care
Yeah,
of, but thank you.
he's that
Have your
type of
seat.
dude.
All
Mountain
right, your next
man kind of
witness.
cat.
Your Honor, on behalf of defendant and counterclaimant Amber Heard, we rest.
All right, thank you. All right, rebuttal evidence?
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Depp calls Walter Hamada of Warner Brothers.
All right, Mr.
Walter Hamada. Damn, darn
Your Honor,
iron
just to
stomach. You ain't
clarify,
lying.
This is by deposition, so we may need,
Oh, okay, well, okay.
I apologize, I should have provided notice.
That's all right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
If we could, yeah.
You know, it's crazy, to be sitting down like that for a long period of time, my ass will be numb. I mean, I'm serious. Like, I couldn't, I got to get up and stretch. You know what I mean? I got to get up and stretch. So it would be like I don't know.
Hamada, what, do you work for Warner Brothers Entertainment, Inc.?
Yes, I do.
In what capacity?
My title is President of DC-based film productions for Warner Brothers.
What, if anything, you did to prepare to testify for Warner Brothers as to topics 2 through 18?
I did not do anything to prepare for this, other than the meeting that I had with the attorneys.
Did Warner Brothers have a contract with Amber Heard to perform an Aquaman 2?
Yes, there was we had an option agreement for her for Aquaman 2.
Do you know what it is?
It looks like a standard contract between an actor and the studio.
And which actor was involved in this? Which actor was a party to this contract?
Amber Heard. It's a contract for Amber Heard for the role of Mara in Aquaman and its sequels.
Which studio contracted with Amber Heard?
Warner Brothers.
When did you come to be the president of DC?
At the beginning of 2018.
Mr. Hamada, was Ms. Heard ever released by Warner Brothers from the Aquaman 2 contract, or what you call the option agreement?
No.
Was she released from her Aquaman 2 contract on or about February 22, 2021?
No.
Was Ms. Heard ever rehired for Aquaman 2 by Warner Brothers?
No.
He's thinking that wouldn't make sense.
Did Ms. Heard receive a pay increase for Aquaman 2?
No.
Why not?
As a rule,
Okay, first off, let me counter something real quick, right? I've been following this, and they were trying to say that Amber Heard would have received an increase based on their comparison, that they compared her to other actors like her. What's the Wonder Woman? I don't know her name. Jason Momoa. They compared her to Jason Momoa. They compared her to who else? Was it James? Not James Franco. Um, the Wonder woman. They compared her to that, and they compared her to Jason Momoa, and they were trying to say, well, she would have received an increase had she, what I mean, kept on, and because of that, they were trying to say, well, because of what's going on now, she didn't receive the increase or whatever or all that shit. Now they're saying, well, hey, well, she never received an increase anyway. So he's about to explain why. Gal Hadid, exactly. So they compared her ass to Gal Hadid and saying like, well, she is just as important as no, she's not. Stop.
Company, we make these. We go through a lot of trouble when we make our deals with our actors. When we get options on them for subsequent movies. And I think traditionally, prior to me joining the company, every option was renegotiated. And one of the things that we were trying to put a rein in on was not renegotiating every deal, with the understanding that people come in and make these deals and they have an understanding that there will be options and that there was a deal in place. And it was a big part of our philosophy that we were going to hold people to their options moving forward.
But did Warner Brothers at any point in time reduce Ms. Heard's role in Aquaman 2?
The role in the film the size of the role in the film that she has was determined in the early development of the script, which would have happened in 2018, I would say. So and from there, beyond normal development, the role sort of, the character's involvement in the story was sort of what it was from the beginning.
Was her role ever reduced for any reason?
No, I mean, again, from the early stages of the development of the script, the movie was built around the character of Arthur and the character of Orm, Arthur being Jason Momoa and Orm being Patrick Wilson. So they were always the two co-leads of the movie.
Did Warner Brothers ever plan to portray Ms. Heard as the co-lead in Aquaman 2?
No, I mean, the movie was always pitched as a buddy comedy between Jason Momoa and Patrick Wilson.
As you heard him say, counterpunch. They were trying to say that Amber Heard's character would be bigger. It would have a fucking increase, a salary increase. Okay. She would have a bigger role. She would be presented as one of the leads. And he is just letting them know, like, no, that is not what it was. Her character is her character. She was the love interest on that, and they were trying to make it like she was guaranteed in Aquaman 2 this increase. She was the co-lead, and all this. He was telling her, like, no, it wasn't reduced because the fucking role wasn't a big role. To reduce it to what? If it was reduced, she would probably be not in the film. They could have easily wrote shit out. You would be amazed on how many scenes that a movie pays for and does without making the final cut. I'm telling you what I know. You've had a whole show, like whole scenes, action scenes, like dark, gritty content, verbal scenes, dialogue scenes that just get axed. Why? Because they don't want it easy. The director or the producer, the director, like, you know what, I don't like that. Or I like that. And the producer says, yeah, you know what, get rid of that. Right? She didn't even play a big role in the first movie, to be honest. No, she didn't. That's what he's saying. There's been so many channels covering this story, but when you have a dude like Kirk covers fighting and C works in the film industry, Perfect Marriage, pun intended. Listen, I know about this shit. I know how this works. I know how this shit works. I know exactly how it works. They're trying to say like, hey, because of this that's going on with me, my role in Aquaman 2 is being reduced. That's what they're saying. That's exactly what they're saying. That's all they're saying. They're saying like, no, it's not. Like you get the same role you were getting because it's a character that they wanted to continue on, the love interest of Jason Momoa. You know what I'm saying? So that's where she's at. There's no increase. There was nothing reduced. This is what it was. Let's continue.
Was Miss Heard cast in Aquaman?
Yes, she was.
Was Miss Heard cast in Aquaman 2?
Yes, she was.
Was Miss Heard paid for her services in Aquaman 1?
Yes.
Was Miss Heard paid for her services in Aquaman 2?
Yes.
Was her compensation for Aquaman 2 affected in any way by anything said by Johnny Depp?
No.
Boom. There you go, people. See, and that's what they're trying to. That's like the counterclaim shit that they're trying to do. Like, oh, well, because of what's going on and because of just Johnny Depp shit, I didn't get the right amount of pay, and I would have got the right amount of pay, which is bullshit. No, you wouldn't have. Stop.
Compensation for Aquaman 2 affected by anything said by Adam Waldman?
No.
Was her compensation for Aquaman 2 affected by anything said by anybody representing Johnny Depp?
No.
Was there any delay in Warner Brothers exercising the option to cast Miss Heard in Aquaman 2?
Yes, there was.
How long a delay was there?
I don't know, probably weeks.
What was the cause of the delay?
There were conversations about potentially recasting.
Ooh.
Who was the producer?
Peter Safran,
Mm-mm.
Who was the director?
James Wan.
Did Warner Brothers believe that those concerns were legitimate?
Yeah, I mean, I had no reason not to believe the director and the producer of the movie.
And you are testifying today as a representative of Warner, correct?
Yes, I am.
What, if any, creative concerns did Warner Brothers have about casting Amber Heard as Mira in Aquaman 2?
It was the concerns that were brought up at the wrap of the first movie, production of the first movie, which is the issue of chemistry. Did the two have chemistry? I think editorially they were able to make that relationship work in the first movie, but there was a concern that it took a lot of effort to get there. And would we be better off recasting, finding someone who had better, more natural chemistry with Jason Momoa and move forward that way?
Ouch. Now, you guys heard that. They were talking about recasting her ass because it took a lot to get there. Okay, what that means is, all right, let me break it down to you guys. When you start filming and you get casted as a role, okay, let's say I'm casted as a character named Henry in a television series, right? Now I'm a regular. And I'm a regular, and my character, Henry, is best friends with the main character. Okay, because that's the equivalent of what Amber Heard. She's the love interest, right? So I would be Henry, and I'm the best friend of the main character, Jason. Okay, so then I get casted. Yes, got the part. So I got the role. So now I come on set, I sign the contract, I get dressed, I go through hair, I go through makeup, I get in my wardrobe. I might take a lunch, I might not, I might hang out until they need me. When they need me, they call me, they pick me up in a van, they take me to wherever the hell we're filming. right? From base camp. So you take you from base camp, and then they take you to where the filming location is set. Okay. So when they take you to set and you get your ass there, right? And then they start filming takes. That's what they do. They start filming takes. They start filming takes. Just take after take after take after take. Those are called dailies. That means that's the footage that they look at the end of the day. Now, it's up to the AD, or should I say first AD, which is the first assistant director, and the director. Okay, you might have the producer, you might have the writer there, maybe just for like, monologue purposes or whatever. But what ends up happening is if they keep doing take after take and they keep wanting you to do take after take, and they're noticing, like, okay, this isn't swaying like we want it to. Like, we've taken 10 takes of the same shit, and I've only liked two of them. So you're like, hey, Kurt, man, can you do this a certain way? Can you do it like this? Can you do it like that? Let's see you do it this way. That means, I believe, based on what I just heard, she had a problem with direction. Okay, and he's talking about the chemistry. Chemistry is easy. That's how easy you see two people in a scene together. How their conversation, how their body language, how everything sways together. So according to them, they were like, we're thinking about recasting. Why? Because it was taking her too hard. She was doing it, but it was taking her, like, it was almost forced. Just like that fucking acting she was doing on stage. It was forced. It didn't look authentic. It didn't look like it swayed together. It didn't come together. That's why they were doing that. Not what Johnny Depp said. It was because of something that had something to do with her ability of acting. Let's move forward.
Your brothers take any steps affirmatively to audition other actresses for the role of Mira in Aquaman 2?
No, we did not.
Other than the creative concerns and concerns about chemistry you testified about, was there any other reason Warner Brothers delayed in picking up Miss Heard's option for Aquaman 2?
No, it was all concerns about whether she was the right bit of casting for the movie.
And okay, I want to make this clear though. Being recasted doesn't mean you're always not, like, that you're a bad actor or actress. What it means is that you could have one hell of a audition. It's just you may not fit the role. You may just not be fit for the part, and it might seem unfair, but that's what it is. And I'm surprised that they didn't do that, because a lot of times they can call up a casting director easy, just like that, and say, you know what? Let's get another perspective. Let's get another audition. Let's get someone fresh in here to see if they can do that. But in order for them to do that, they have to do what you call a screen test. And that screen test is depicted, and they have to bring that actor in, which was Jason Momoa, and then they have to see how they gel. They could have done that, and they didn't. So Amber is very, very fortunate. Okay. So, and because they could have done that, because I've seen that happen before. Let's go.
What role, if any, did Miss Heard's dispute with Johnny Depp have in Warner Brothers' delay picking up Miss Heard's option for Aquaman 2?
There was none from our end.
Okay. There was none.
At any point in time, was Warner Brothers considering paying Ms. Heard more money
Here we
for
go.
Aquaman 2 than is set forth in the option contract you previously identified?
No, as I said, we were determined to hold our actors to their option agreements.
There you go.
Would Warner Brothers have paid Ms. Heard more money on Aquaman 2 if it had picked up her option earlier?
No.
Oh. See, there you go. That claim that she would have got more money, that claim because of Johnny Depp's antics, that claim before his false defamation character, that claim before all this shit happened is all out of the way. It goes right out of the window like a pot of piss. Why? Because they've already said we were going to give her that money. We're going to hold her to that money that she agreed for in the first one. And if she didn't like it, we could always recast it because she wasn't that fucking good anyway with our main star, which was Jason Momoa. Okay? She wasn't a co star. She was nothing. She was a principal. Okay? So that's exactly what it is. And then they don't give you those extra deals. Luckily, she got that type of money she got. You know what I mean? Boom. There goes the dynamite. Let's continue.
At any time from the beginning of history through today, did Warner Brothers ever release Ms. Heard from the Aquaman 2 contract?
No.
At any point in time from the beginning of history to today, did Warner Brothers rehire Ms. Heard for Aquaman 2?
No, because we just picked up her option.
And when is the last time you spoke with Rob Cohen relating in any manner to whether to exercise the option on Amber Heard for Aquaman 2?
No, it would have been at the same time that I was having those conversations with Peter Safran
So,
in 2020.
did you speak with Zack Snyder at all relating to whether to exercise the option for Amber Heard on Aquaman 2?
No, I've not had any conversations with Zack Snyder.
Did you speak at all with Jason Momoa in preparation for your deposition today?
No.
Have you ever spoken with Jason Momoa about any issues relating to chemistry between he and Amber Heard?
Yes.
When did you speak with Jason Momoa about
Uh-oh.
chemistry issues between he and Amber Heard?
It would have been in that same time period where we were prior to green light of the movie.
Now, you were asked some questions about scripts. Did you review any of the drafts of the script for Aquaman 2?
Yes.
When?
I part of my role is I read all the drafts of the scripts as they come in.
When was the first script for Aquaman 2?
Oh boy. I cannot. Probably in 2018, latter part of 2018 would be my guess.
And how many versions of the script had been written by the beginning of 2021 for Aquaman 2?
Oh, there were probably half dozen drafts of the script.
All right, what, if anything, did Rob Cohen say to you about chemistry? What specifically about the chemistry between Amber Heard and Jason Momoa?
Just the fact that they didn't really have a lot of chemistry together.
Ooh.
The reality is it's not uncommon on movies for two leads to not have chemistry, and that it's sort of movie magic and editorial, the ability to sort of put performances together, and with the magic of a great score and how you put the pieces together, you can fabricate sort of that chemistry. And so I think in at the end of the day, I think if you watch the movie, they look like they had great chemistry. But I just know that through the course of the post-production, that it took a lot of effort to get there. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes it's very easy. You just put the characters on the screen together and they work. And sometimes it's harder. And so,
Can you give me anything more specific about what it was with Amber Heard and Jason Momoa that was difficult for the chemistry?
no, because it's like what makes a movie star a movie star. Like you know it when you see it, and the chemistry wasn't there.
Now,
Wow. Listen. He said, well, we did talk to Jason, and they talked about the chemistry. It wasn't there. So basically what happens, you have to make someone that can't act or can't gel with another actor or actress. You have to make movie magic. How you do that? Editing. See, then it might appear a certain way, but it didn't really sway. Bars. Okay, so yeah, they talked to Jason Momoa about that. Like, look, it took a while to get there. Meaning take after take after take after take after take after take. That is what we that's what they witnessed. I didn't witness shit. I'm just witnessing the truth that's coming behind Amber Heard. It took her a while to get there. They were like, I don't know if we need to work with her like that. Why? Because everyone could get recasted. I don't give a shit how big you think you are. You can be recasted. The moment an actor starts thinking they need me, that's when he fails. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Let's continue.
You've used the term fabricated a number of times. What did you do to fabricate the chemistry between Amber Heard and Jason
Editing.
Momoa?
Well, those are just it's editorial.
Editing.
Good filmmakers can pick the right takes.
That's what I'm telling you.
Moments and put scenes together. Again, score is a big, the music in a scene makes a big difference. You can make a happy scene feel sadder or a sad scene feel happier. And
Fabrication.
So it's sort of it's just the magic of post-production, editing, sound design, music, etc.
So this is what they were saying. This is what he's saying. We had to add score music. We had to use editorial magic, tricks, techniques to make something that wasn't natural look or feel more natural because it wasn't. So they had to pick up the slack on the other end because she was slacking. Okay, that's all he's saying. Let's continue.
What do you mean by fabricating, though? I mean, were they literally falsifying, or were they just picking the best music? Let me just finish my question. Were they picking the best music and picking the best looks because that's their job and that's what they do on every scene?
That is what we do in post-production. That's what filmmakers do. They this is on any production you're doing that. You're putting performances together. Sometimes it's even easier than others. This one was more difficult because of the lack of chemistry between the two. But they were able to, James Wan and the editor were able to get it to a place where the end result actually works. And it's great.
So them talking about editing, and that's how you make a good look. An editor, okay, on an editing team, that is so imperative. Okay, you can have a great movie. Let me give you guys an example. Do you guys remember Bloodsport? Anybody remember Bloodsport? Jean-Claude Van Damme, Bloodsport. That first editing film was trash. They had to re-edit it through MGM or Canon or whatever the hell that was. I think that was Canon at the time, right? Remember Canon used to have all those 80 movies, those kickboxing action 80 movies. Canon, right? Mm-hmm. So I mean, that first edit was terrible. They had to re-edit that. If they wouldn't have made what it made, and Van Damme wouldn't be who he is today.
And in fact, that's the job of every filmmaker, right? Is to put all the combinations together to make the most successful production.
Absolutely.
Tell you what has been marked as exhibit number 5. It's ALH 18247. And this is a text message exchange between James Wan and Amber Heard. And you mentioned James Wan was the director of Aquaman 2, is that correct? And Aquaman, the first one, correct?
That's correct.
All right. And James is texting to Amber on August 25, 2018. You rated really high with the audience, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. You see that?
Yes.
This is August 25, 2018. What's going on August 25, 2018 that would cause the director to send a text message to Amber saying,
that'd be a test screening. So during our post-production of movie, we test the movie with an audience, and the audience tells us what they liked and what they didn't like. And so that's what he's referring to there.
And they really liked Amber Heard, correct?
Yes, she did. She tested well.
So what they're saying is she did well. Well, yeah, she did well by herself. She didn't do well when you brought the other actor in. See, you have to gel. You have to feed off each other's energy when it comes to reading scripts. If you're doing a dialogue with a person and you're going back and forth, you have to feel that person, and likewise for that other person. You have to feel each other. If you don't, it's going to be awkward. It's crazy. I could audition for a show and I could read it with a friend of mine, and me and a friend of mine, we could gel just as well. But then I could get there, and then me and the director, or the casting director in this case, would not gel. So it would be shaky, would be the way he delivered it, you know what I mean? The accents, the cue, the timing. It's all off. It's not right. It doesn't feel right. Why? Because you got somebody else reading for you. Okay, and that's exactly how this goes. What he was saying is, yeah, you look good in front of the audience, but then when we start actually filming, that was the problem. Let's continue.
$1 billion, is that correct?
Yeah.
And more specifically, did you play any role in the determination to communicate to Amber's representatives that Warner Brothers was considering not exercising her option?
Yeah, probably in the sense of we had the conversations, and I believe, if I recall, we had that's where Peter Safran offered to reach out to the agent and express which direction we were leaning.
Have you seen any document that says there was any chemistry issues between Amber Heard and Jason Momoa in Aquaman 1?
Documents? No, I mean, those were all conversations.
But if Jason came back and James Wan came back, you were guaranteeing that Amber Heard would play Mira, correct?
That's correct.
And Jason Momoa was able to negotiate a different compensation structure, was he not, for Aquaman 2?
That's true. He did renegotiate.
And see, I see what they're saying. Now, oh, he's renegotiating. It has nothing to do with Amber Heard. Again, let's watch this.
Now, Aquaman was the highest grossing DC film ever for Warner Brothers, was it not?
Yes, it was.
Made that
What
Black
if
Panther
any
money.
issues
Aquaman
did you
did.
have with Amber Heard in Aquaman 2?
My understanding is actually the production went very smoothly.
All right, thank you. Your next witness.
Your Honor, we call Dr. Colburn next, but I know we have a preliminary matter that we need to deal with briefly, if we may approach.
Sure.
So we just had that witness, good insight. Amber Heard, yeah, she never got fired. She never got recasted, but they thought about recasting her. They said, hey, do you have it in writing? It was like, no, that was a conversation. Like, who the fuck does that? Because the only person that they would probably text that to would be through a text message conversation if it was that bad. But obviously it didn't get to that point, but it was also discussed, okay, by the higher ups that maybe we should recast her. Let's recast her. Why not? Okay. Why not recast her? And luckily she didn't. You know, I think that was actually getting better. But good insight from that witness. I'm going to jump off of here, guys. I'm going to keep continuing to cover this. Thank you guys for stopping in. God bless you. And everyone has been Counterpunch. Peace.